Okay, so what's next? Do we have Kaiju? Is that next?
We got Kaiju.
Oh boy, you
What'd you call
guys,
me?
the troll poll.
Kaiju.
I don't know how this happened, but somehow the skinning scene from Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon made it to the poll, and it was voted on. It was the one that won. Oh boy, I was hoping this would be something that would surprise everybody because, by the way, for those of you who don't know, we are just about to start production on Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, the full deep dive version. That, if for those of you who don't even know what that is, it is Matt Dinneman's very overlooked Gamelit horror masterpiece that he wrote, I think, a couple years ago, or at least yes,
Yeah.
that's a lot of people's issues. They
That's
can't.
the
Oh,
sentiment.
it's so intense. It's so gross. It's such a 180 from Dungeon Crawler Carl, and oh man, I absolutely love it. And this scene is probably might be the worst scene. Might be the worst scene in the
Oh
book.
wow,
So
I'm excited.
it's brutal. We're gonna do it. And Justin is gonna play a little boy, right?
Yeah.
And Harlan is gonna play his mom.
Yes, I'll do
And
it like this. I think.
well, yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Sweetie,
Good way to do it.
I don't really know the character
And
at all.
I am going to be the person that is being skinned, who is the main
Ooh,
character.
cool.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So this is a sneak peek for you guys. The actual real audio drama / deep dive is going to be released. Like the first episode is going to be released on October 31st, on our anniversary as a platform. It will be free, and we will do the entire book for free. And it'll be in episodes, just like The Stars Have Eyes, just like Malevolent, just like Space Buns. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, and we haven't rehearsed this at all, and this is a troll poll, so we're not going to take it 100% seriously.
I'm
But-
already uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
already ready. Here we go. You ready?
Everyone to be uncomfortable for this. By the way, if you have not read this book already, go check it out on Amazon. Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon.
I will also say that this is an 18+ show, and
Yeah.
if you are uncomfortable with the scenes of gore, violence, I mean, I think Jeff set it up pretty well, but
Ooh.
you might want to, I don't know.
Hide your kids. Hide your
kids,
wife. Hide your
kids,
husband.
Hide your wife. Hide your husbands. Hide everybody.
as
You ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Dodson would say.
All right, here we go. Ready? Did you think you could shoot your way out of here?
Madam Throb asked. Yeah, that was the plan, I croaked. I clutched at the neck clamp. My wrists were not bound. My gun was gone. So was my pack. I pulled up the inventory using the menus and received an error. Weapons inventory and spells unavailable during incarceration. Would I get them back? Holy shit. If I lost my Epiviper, my money, I'd have to completely start over. Oddly, I had the sense that I could still shoot my grappling hook. I sensed my left hand could still crush almost anything it tried, but I wasn't going to attempt anything with half the town guards surrounding me. What was I going to do? The thought of having to actually go through with this sacrament thing? I wouldn't make it. Not mentally. The death sequence was terrible enough. A cleric stepped forward. He cast a spell, and my pants disintegrated. I felt them sizzle and disappear, leaving my legs exposed. A notification appeared and disappeared, something about my armor breaking. I still wore a tattered loincloth. My boots remained. Oddly, my belt also remained. It felt odd against my bare hip. I watched as a young groundling girl, no older than 3, toddled toward me, holding a serrated knife as long as her forearm. She clutched it uncertainly in both hands. I kicked at her. "Get that thing away from me!" Pastor Brock waved his hand. You have been paralyzed. You are unable to move. My body froze in mid-kick. I fell, not quite enough to choke me, but enough to be painful on my chin and the back of my head. I could still move my neck and head, but I couldn't get it in a proper position. Get the fuck away from me! I cried again.
You're going to suffer 1,000 years of pain,
the toddler said, her voice heavy with a lisp. She turned back to the crowd.
Did I say that right?
A second cleric stepped forward, putting a stool down on the ground in front of me. The stool was painted in a ladybug pattern. He patted the girl on the head. The child stood on the chair, wavering slightly.
Oopsie, I almost fall.
You can do it, honey.
A woman groundling called. Her mother. The groundling girl stabbed me in my left leg, all the way to the hilt. The jagged knife entered my muscle and bounced off my bone with all the finesse of a chainsaw. I screamed.
No, honey.
The mom said, coming forward.
That's too deep. Pull it out.
He bleeds a lot.
The toddler said, yanking.
It's stuck.
Let me show you on this leg.
The mom said. She grasped the knife, pulling it free. I screamed again. I watched in horror as my health points actually rose. I eyed that second cleric, the one who'd disintegrated my pants, his hands aglow. The mom pinched a handful of skin on my upturned thigh, the one still raised in a frozen kick.
Don't cut it. We want the skin, nothing else. It's like peeling a fruit.
I screamed anew as the mom filleted a 10-inch strip of skin off my thigh.
Gimme! Gimme!
The girl said, clapping her hands, reaching for the knife.
So, you think you can do it like that?
The mom said, handing back the blade. Fuck! I cried. Heal me! Jesus Christ! The cleric did not heal me this time. The mother gave me a chilly look.
Language,
She said.
There are children about.
I can do it.
The toddler said.
Okay.
The mom said.
Nice and gentle, cut slow, down and slow, like you're peeling the skin of a fruit. Be careful you don't nick yourself, honey.
Okay, Mommy.
The girl said. She plunged the knife in my leg again. It went straight in, but this time it was stopped by the bone. She yanked it out and stabbed again. And again.
Whoopsie.
She said. My world was pain. It became my life, my religion, my breath, and my blood. It was all I knew, all I would ever know. After the toddler, older children came. The ones who knew what they were doing were worse than those who didn't because the clerics did not heal me between each proper flaying. Both of my legs looked like one of those shawarma spits, with bits of skin and fat hanging off like paper streamers. An impossibly large pool of blood cascaded off the pedestal and ran into a channel, streaming downward into the temple and toward the dais at the back of the badger's throat. It took almost a full day and dozens of healings for all of the town's children to get their strip of flesh. I watched, dazed, as a group of child groundlings rushed through the streets, waving the skin at each other, shrieking with laughter, pretending like the strips of leather were whips. One child fastened a crude slingshot out of his piece, and spent a full hour shooting rocks at my head before one of the mechs finally shooed him away. I spent this time attempting to break my mind in two. Dr. Metcalf had tried to teach me how to do it when I was dealing with Chris. At the time, I had thought the whole thing was stupid. Mary had clutched onto it like a lifeline, though, spending hours meditating. It had never worked for me, but it seems to help Mary. Not a lot, but during those first few months, anything that eased an ounce of the pain was worth it. Still, I clutched onto the idea of being able to disassociate myself like it was the last crumb of food in the world. And it worked. Not like I intended, but by God, it worked. I thought of Chris. I thought of that day. There was no pain that could supersede the memory. None. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit because this is like flashback stuff that's not part of the scene, but I love how the sound effects are still going. They're like, he's like making a hamburger ball.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I became acutely aware of my left hand. Assuming my grappling hook worked. No. Let's see, let's keep going. What if I did it? Decided to wait, spend the next 24 hours. Let's see. Okay, so now he's trying to escape. I spent the next 24 hours in a constant state of terror and pain. When my mech guard wasn't looking, I attempted to use my powerful left hand to break the rod and chains that held me. It felt as if I was almost strong enough to break the pole, but not quite enough. I devoted some time to reading the menus, and I realized my left hand actually had a 2x strength bonus. So my strength of 15 was actually 30 in that hand only. I still had 4 attribute points from leveling up, and I tossed all 4 into my strength, bringing it up to 19, making my left hand a godlike 38. I tried again, and I felt the pole start to break under my fingers. But then it stopped. Self-escape is not possible until your debt is paid or canceled. Fuck you! I screamed out at the air, startling the mech, cleric, and boy who had been sleeping at my feet. Gulch looked at me with wide eyes.
You said a bad word,
he said. I took a deep breath, remembering. Chris said the same thing to Mary all the time. I rarely swore. Mary swore like a sailor with a splinter in her eye. I'll try to be better, I said at the boy. Gulch nodded solemnly and went back to sleep. I can't remember exactly where it keeps going.
I think the flaying is done.
The flaying it might be done. At least, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So anyway, actually, you know what? I think this is maybe a good place to stop because it only gets worse from here.
Ooh.
And I don't want to spoil all that stuff for all of you guys who are going to be experiencing it.
Sounds fun. I'm
The
excited.
real version. But yeah, that is Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon. That's a little sneak peek. This is actually the scene where a particular character named the Canadian first shows up and hangs out with the main character. There's a certain actor who's here, actually, who I had in mind for that character. So
I don't know how he is yet, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I encourage you to listen to read the rest of this chapter and find him. I think he's near the end. He's great. He's super good. But
I'm excited.
Anyway, that was our troll poll for today. Thank you guys.
Well
for
done,
being
everyone.
such a nice family. So we could do family things together.
Kind of reminds me of. Did you guys ever see the old Judge Dredd?
Yes.
Like the old Sylvester Stallone one. I love that
I
one.
never
by
saw
the
that,
way.
no.
It's good.
Oh, it's so good.
It's fun.
But there's that scene with like the cannibal family out in the wastes.
Oh
Remember that at
yeah.
the beginning, sort of. He's like,
Yeah.
Ma, I want his eyes. Like, you wait your turn, and they're like, it's so good. I love it. And Rob Schneider's his sidekick. It's a great.
Oh yeah.
Rob
Yeah, it's-
Schneider.
Dude,
Yeah,
Rob Schneider,
he
yeah.
plays, like, his
Goose
comedic
Bigelow, Male
sidekick.
Gigolo.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I just don't
Yeah.
picture him
He
in.
honestly-
I totally
Dredd.
forgot about that.
The OG Judge Dredd movie is fantastic if you just don't think of it as Judge Dredd. If you're like, yo, like if you didn't know it was a comic book series, if you're just like, I want to see a weird fucking 90s movie, like a la Army of Darkness level of like, humor and action and gore, it's amazing. As a Judge Dredd movie, it's awful, but like as just its own thing, it's so good. Such a fun movie.
Well, I thought that the comics was also a bit campy too, wasn't it? Like
It is, but like
slapsticky and
it
fucked up.
ruins some like fundamental logic. Like
Does it?
number one is Dredd never takes off his helmet, and like literally in the first scene he walks up and takes off his helmet and never puts it back on. Like it's so, you know what I mean? It's like if Iron Man didn't have an Iron Man
They
suit.
just wanted to
He's-
show Sylvester Stallone's face. That's all they wanted to
that's
do.
it. The new Dredd movie is legitimately fantastic, and it is
Carl Urban.
fantastic because they honor the character. Have you guys not seen the new Dredd?
Oh, I've
it's
seen
great.
it. I've seen it.
It's so
so
good.
good.
It's
so
and,
good.
and
His
but that one
visual is
is legit
impeccable.
Dreddy.
Well, that's what I mean. That one is like legit Dredd, and it's a legit movie. But like, there's honestly, it's really one of my favorite lines from that movie is like. It's like a little robot, and it's like, eat recycled food. It's good for the environment and okay for you. And it's like going through the halls, just saying that. It's like such a good fucking line. It's good for the environment and
man.
okay for you.
I might watch that tonight. I might watch
Oh,
that.
it's so
either
fun.
either one of
You
them.
should.
I've
Yeah,
seen them
it's-
both, but I
I mean, I've
personally like
definitely
the new
seen-
one the most. But like,
I've seen them equal amounts of times for different reasons because the OG one is like really silly and really awesome. And my brother and I used to quote it like all the time. So it's definitely a quotable 90s movie.
homework for any of you watching or listening:
You
watch one or two of those, one or both of those movies. They're
Yeah.
great.
It
right.
honestly depends on your feeling, right? If you're like, I really want to go for like an action movie, watch Dredd. If you want like an Army of Darkness level stupid, watch Judge Dredd because it's awesome.
Yeah.